we're back.
Right.
You're still not convinced, right, about ghosts?
No, not so much. No.
Yeah. I feel like you were getting closer after the first episode.
Yeah, I don't know why you would.
Further back after the second episode, like a negative space there,
yeah.
negative steps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's one I think is going to be fun.
Okay.
I think you're going to like this one. This one, I'm not so brazen as to suggest it'll seal the deal for you, but it might move us back toward positive territory.
Yeah, back towards neutral.
I should say too, this is kind of a mini episode. This is a short story. Maybe this is if the show is this a ghost? Maybe this is this a ghostie? That's a shortened.
Okay.
Or,
Yeah. Sure.
It's like that, or like ghostlet.
I like the name.
I like ghostie.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Is this a ghostie? Yeah. So this is a ghostie. So in California, which is a state.
Yeah. On the left side.
On the left coast. Right. Yeah. They say if you're the hip ones, I think about that. There's a town called Whittier, which is pretty close to LA. It's like basically east of LA, a skosh.
Okay.
A Scotia. It's like 2 Scotias east of LA. It's been a long day, huh? Get a lot of sleep last night?
I'm trying to figure out where
So LA is here.
Yeah.
Whittier is here.
To the left. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry. No, to the right.
Well,
I did it to my left. I was doing it for you're on the other side of the table, so.
I'm very sympathetic. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So east is to the right.
Yep.
Anyway, doesn't matter. But there's a canyon in Whittier called Turnbull Canyon.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
Have you? Explain to me in exact detail the ways you have heard of this.
So, actually, no. I've heard of a baseball player named Turnbull. So,
okay.
Close.
So that's extremely different. Yeah. Okay. There's
Turnbull Canyon.
And I should say, there are apparently a lot of hauntings that happen there. This is one haunting. Okay. It's a very haunted place. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So let me guess. Is it like a bunch of like drunk high school kids that go there and get haunted, quote unquote, instead of getting in trouble by their parents?
Well, it is interesting that you say this because not exactly. Okay. Sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of that motif ties into this specific version of this story, but not actually. Well,
I'm getting very close, aren't I?
You know what? Let's just tell the story. I will say, based on that skepticism, which was a little close to the mark and hurtful, some of the ghosts that have been reported here are from indigenous people. Okay. Who were, I don't know if you know the history, but they were not treated well by people who look like us.
The indigenous Californians?
Yeah.
Okay.
Slash all of what is now America. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've
heard that
they died very angrily.
Oh no.
Yeah. So there's lots of, so they're a part of this, and some other things too. But what I want to talk about today in our little ghostie is the fact that in the 1930s in Turnbull Canyon, or I don't know, it'd be weird for this to be like in the bottom of the canyon. But
like when you say in Turnbull Canyon, I'm imagining it's literally the fucking bottom of the canyon.
That's why that's why I'm trying to clarify, because now that I say that out loud, like I don't imagine it was in the bottom of the canyon.
Is Turnbull Canyon like a suburb where it's like, oh, it's up in Turnbull Canyon, but actually happened like on a paved street in like front of his house or something?
I mean now it might be a paved thing, but Turnbull Canyon is a canyon.
Yeah. Like
there's
Laurel
like a whole
Canyon. Yeah.
Sort of, yes.
Okay.
Where we got lost famously. Once. Yeah. Remember was that Laurel Canyon? No, where were we when we got trailed by a police officer?
We got escorted out by a police officer.
Yeah.
Because
was that Laurel Canyon?
That was Laurel Canyon. Yeah. Very much. Yes.
It was a confusing place.
It's very pretty. It's very nice. Yeah. And then we were escorted out, which I thought was weird because it's like a public thing. But
Yeah.
Police officers
they looked at us and they were like,
hey,
is this an Impala? Please get out.
Yeah. Please go away. Here's how to get out. Anyway, and then when we left Laurel Canyon, remember there was a unhoused gentleman that was moving road construction barriers to block the road into and out of Laurel Canyon. Which we waved to him. Yeah.
He waved back.
Yeah.
That was a trip. Remember, because this was before the iPhone.
Right. Yeah.
And so we were looking for the Hollywood sign, which in hindsight was not the right place to look. But based on our MapQuest map that we had printed out on that road trip, it looked close.
The hilarious thing was that they had decided that to be more environmentally conscious, they would turn off the Hollywood sign at night, which is the only time the Hollywood sign needs to be on, which made the photos pretty poor.
Yeah, not good. Yeah, you don't need to light it during the day.
Right, yeah. Exactly.
The sun is famously strong in California.
Yeah. So we left Laurel Canyon and thought, you know what? I guess there's no photos tonight. And then there was a gentleman that was like, you know what? Stay in Laurel Canyon. I'm going to keep all you motherfuckers in here. Anyway. So like that.
It seems maybe sort of like that, but it is an actual canyon, but kind of an area also.
Okay.
Where you go through. So somewhere in Turnbull Canyon was in the 1930s what was then colloquially known as an insane asylum. I don't think that's like in a preferred canyon? Nomenclature now.
Like you're insane, throw you in the canyon.
Like go into this canyon, but there was like a building.
Okay.
So it's not it's not like hard to say.
Okay.
I wasn't there. I was at work that day in the 1930s. Yep. Yeah. So there was an asylum there, and those are good places.
For whom? I've seen American Horror Story.
Horror writers? Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah.
The Doctor has a great time there.
Yeah.
The Monsters.
A blast of a time. Yeah. So obviously, asylums in the 1930s were horrific. Mm-hmm. Even like the nice ones were real bad.
Yeah, like 60 Minutes bad.
Yeah. And it was, like the science had advanced to the point where it's like, oh, you act strangely. Let's take a piece of your brain out. Like that was a common thing.
I think this piece of your brain is the broken part.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no.
Nope, that was wrong. Well, let's drill a hole in this part of your skull and take this part of your brain. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not good, I would say. I think is fair.
Yeah, we figured out which parts do what now. Yeah.
Sometimes. Sure. In the 30s, not so much. And so, the mind reels, but some bad stuff happened there, I'm sure. Eventually, the asylum burned to the ground.
Oh, no.
Your future was so bright.
I know. They were so close. Like the next quarter, they would have been profitable.
They were going to It lasted about a decade. Early 1940s, burns to the ground for reasons unknown to me. They're probably documented somewhere, but I don't. I don't do research for this podcast. So, but since that day, of course, people who've gone hiking in the canyon have reported some strange things, including, and this is a quote here, intense feelings of fear and even panic.
Okay, so if I am a Los Angeles County resident, how much of my day is comprised of feelings of panic and fear?
I would guess 97%.
Yeah. And that's including sleep. So, I mean, hiking to a specific canyon and feeling the same as I do all of the time.
But you think when you go to the canyon to hike, you're going to get like a breath of fresh air.
The Insane Asylum Canyon? That's when I'm going to relax?
Well, you've picked the wrong canyon is the thing.
You really want to go up into Laurel Canyon. That's where everything is really chill. I'm not really convinced by somebody being really panicked in Los Angeles County.
No, neither am I. So that's not the point of this podcast. Okay. This episode, you'll be glad to know. But it's true that people feel very panicked. So it's probably ghosts. So according to this,
don't be TripAdvisor again.
No,
or Travel Channel. I'm sorry.
No, Backpackerverse.
Not better. Yeah,
not worse.
Okay.
Better than furnace fuel. What was it?
Furnacefuckers.com.
Yeah, better than that for sure. So for like the psychically gifted people among us, the sensitives, the mediums among us.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Not you or me, but it's difficult to even stand near the ruins of this insane asylum, which I guess are still there. So I'm not sure about that. I want to get boots on the ground here and see if those are still like this website says the ruins, which says to me that after a big fire in the 1940s, everyone was like, we'll just leave it there for
it's like now almost we'll just leave it right there. Years. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. So I have a hard time believing that, but I maybe they mean just like where it had stood. But apparently some people who are, again, psychically gifted feel as though something is reaching inside your brain and, quote, gently caressing what they find there. Now, that's a weird sentence.
That's a very LSD type sentence to say. I feel something gently caressing my brain from the inside.
Well, gently caressing what they find there. It's not to suggest it's a brain.
Okay.
So, again, this is not the point of the episode, but I just want to call it out because it's pretty good. But we're focused on here is something that happened in the 60s.
A specific event.
Yes, a specific event. Yeah. No, we're not done. And we might come back to Turnbull Canyon to talk about other ones also, because there are a lot of specific events that supposedly happen here.
Interesting.
We're going to talk about one. Happened in the 60s, the 1960s.
Oh, okay.
When a group of local teenagers, yes, they went for a hike, which was like, I'm sure, just a hike.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to go hiking.
Los Angeles County teenagers are known for their hiking.
Yeah, I assume so. Yeah. Okay. And they came across whatever was left of the asylum. Right. Now this, so, and you'll appreciate this. Backpackerverse.com also says, giddy with youth and fun, which I don't know what those words mean together. That feels
very
like
translated. I don't know what the hell that means.
Giddy with youth and fun, and probably a little chemical assistance. So to me, I read this and I think, you know what? That feels like libel, because you can't, how dare they assume? Yeah. But it feels like something you would also have assumed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did. But again, assuming something in like LA County type area is just going to be like burned down and abandoned and not immediately turn into a fucking Applebee's is really kind of a stretch for me.
But I will say, Backpackerverse is just one source. I did find quite a few people who, from this point on, had corroborated the same story in different ways. But so teenagers in the 60s hiking through the canyon. Maybe they're on LSD, maybe not. Hard to say. But they find whatever is left of the ruins of this place, whatever they may be. But there must be ruins at this point, at least, because they're digging through them. They're like hanging out there, doing as kids, as the youth do.
Yeah, kids, they go hiking, they dig through an insane asylum. Yeah, they have a great time. They set up camp.
And they found an old electric shock treatment device.
Oh, that's exciting. Okay.
It is exciting, right? Let me ask you what you would do in this scenario. Like,
what would I do?
You're hiking around with some friends. You find some ruins of an old burned out place from, 30 years ago. Right. And then you find this electroshock therapy device. Right. What's the first thing you do?
I'd probably go on eBay and I'd see what it's worth.
That's the second thing you would do.
I'm sorry. What's the first thing I do?
I think you know.
EST device. Yeah. I think, I should probably maybe put it on myself.
There you go. Okay. I knew you'd come to it. Yeah. I knew it.
Right now.
This is what they decide to do. One of the kids is like, put this on.
Yeah, sure.
Now, again, this is a device that is decades old.
Powered down.
Yeah,
obviously.
In rubble. It's safe to put it on.
Okay.
Would you think so?
I mean, if I see like an EST device and I think, should I wear that around like a fun party hat? I'm probably not going to.
Why not?
Fuck it, I will.
Yeah. And you're a man of science. Yeah. Like, you need electricity.
I mean, there are limits. Right. This is also kind of a fun thing to do.
Sure. And in like the 30s, they didn't have batteries. I assume for this stuff. These are like
the worst thing that happened.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's no power source going to this thing. Sure. So he's like, I'm gonna put it on. So he does. He puts it on. He's like, well, look at me. I got this thing on there. Everyone's like, this is cool.
Yeah.
They like flip the switch. He begins to fucking scream because thousands of volts of electricity go into his brain.
Yeah.
He dies. He dies.
Really?
He literally dies.
Oh my gosh.
There's actual power in this thing.
Oh, interesting.
And according to not just backpackerverse.com, but several sites.
Something more reputable than backpackerverse.com.
It's hard to say.
Okay.
But according to multiple sources, the kid's friends just have to watch as their friend is like being electrocuted. And his hair starts to smoke. His clothes catch fire.
I don't think that's how it works.
His eyes and his skin, his whole body catches fire.
Like, that's not how EST works. Like, is he a frog? Like, is that what happens?
Maybe. This has suddenly become sideways stories from Wayside School.
Right. Yeah.
And they undid all his clothing. Yeah. And he was a dead rat.
Frogs, yeah.
It's surprising to me too, because I've seen Return to Oz, and I know that when you get electric shock therapy, you go back to the ways to Oz.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. And then you've got like the people on the wheels for hands and stuff.
It works. Yeah.
But he got so electrocuted.
Dude. I got
so electrocuted that he started smoldering.
Right. Yeah.
And he died. and he's dead.
So the evidence that supports this exists somewhere, or is this just a story from the friends who claim this, but their friend actually...
Way to think about this, right? The evidence is a teenager is dead. True story.
In a canyon.
Right, in a canyon.
Happens.
Body burned up.
Are you sure?
I can only... Look, again, I don't know how many times we can have this conversation, but everything that is true is on the internet.
Right, but what's in the newspaper, though?
I assume so. Would you like me to do some more research and find out?
That's fine. Okay.
So, body... singed.
Yeah.
Friends, eyewitnesses say this is what happened. The device was found.
Right.
I mean, so here's the thing. If it's not true, what had to have happened is all the friends lit this child on fire and then said, okay, here's our story. We're going to put this thing that we have found on his head.
Insane asylum in Turnbull Canyon, and it's all going to be cool, guys. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
That seems more likely than electricity appearing out of nowhere. I'll be honest.
You think so?
I do.
You know why you think so? You know why?
Why?
Because you refuse to believe in the power of ghosts.
Correct. Yes, I do.
Now, I'll tell you this. If you were open to the idea of ghosts, you would be open to the idea of this energy being present in this space, in this way, and frying this poor child to death. It would not seem like a strange thing to you.
I mean, it seems strange. Anyway.
I mean, it does. Yeah, that's a lie. It would seem real. It seems strange to me, and I'm into ghosts, but it sucks. You know, it makes me feel like here's what I hate about this. It makes me feel like if I'm hiking somewhere and I find the burned out ruins of a place, and I'm like, hey, here's this torture device that doesn't work anymore. It makes me feel like I can't safely put that on myself and expect to live. And that upsets me so much.
I don't want to live in that world.
I don't want to live in that world.
Yeah.
I don't want to live on this timeline if that's the way it goes.
Yep. If I'm hiking through the woods and I find an abandoned, burned down insane asylum full of graffiti, I feel like I should be able to put whatever torture device on my head I want.
Absolutely.
Without fear of repercussion.
No
matter what my family says.
No matter how many chemicals they claim you might be on.
Yep. Yeah.
I agree.
So
anyway,
unconvinced at the moment.
Okay. But less negatively convinced than after the last episode?
Yes.
I thought that might be the case. Okay, good. I'm glad we did this. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll see you next time. Maybe we'll move you a little further down the needle.
We'll see.
Further down the needle? Thank you so much for listening to Is This a Ghost? If you're enjoying it, please make sure to rate this podcast wherever you downloaded it and to subscribe if you don't yet. And also, if you could tell your friends about it, that would be super great because Patrick thinks it's going to take us 1 million years to get 1 million listeners. I would love it if it took like a week because I could really, that'd be a feather in my cap. So, please spread the word.